us. We're about to get underway for round 4 of the ESRL Sprint Championship. Hopefully more people will join for the second race, because we were supposed to have around 15 today, and we haven't ended up with that many, so that's a shame. But hopefully it will be entertaining. It is Jeddah, so anything can happen around this track, Sumo.
Yeah, it certainly can. The walls are tight and the corners even tighter. 27 corners around this 4-kilometre circuit. The fastest average speed on a street track on the calendar, and the second fastest out of every circuit that Formula One races at the moment, only being beaten by the Temple of Speed itself. It's a very tricky track to get right, and I think only the best of drivers will come out on top.
Absolutely. Talking of the best of drivers, NER Ayrton is here today, so we'll have to see how that goes. It is a reverse grid championship, so he is going to start a little bit further down, but he's not actually leading the championship at the moment. He's missed 3 races this season, which has cost him quite a bit, and I think he is sitting P4 in the championship. Let me just have a double check. Driver standings. He's sitting P5. Sorry, he's 29 points off the championship lead. So we'll have to see if he can come back, but it's going to be tricky. Actually, he's more than that, because Nath Clark just became a permanent driver, so he's at the top of the standings. But he's not here today.
No Nath Clark there, Mitchell. Might make NER Ayrton's recovery job a little bit easier. Hello Lifeboat, who's in the chat at the moment and is now on the track, perhaps. Yes, he is. He's sat in P2 for the minute. Yes, he says Jeddah is one of the better tracks without line. I don't race without the line, so I don't know, honestly. But I guess the tight nature of the circuit makes it a little bit easier for you to judge where you need to put the car in certain situations. It's a very tight and twisty track. Overtaking is possible, but you have to be extremely careful.
Absolutely. It is tricky with no line, this track, but if you get it right, it's really good. Sector 1 with no line, there's so much disparity, at least from what I've seen in APP Elite, as Avi has left the session. Hopefully he can get back in. Yeah, there's so much disparity through Sector 1 in terms of pace on this track, so we'll have to see if the same is true for ESRL. Yeah, satisfying track to get right.
Yeah, it really is, especially I'll tell you my favourite corner when we get to it in a moment. I think the drivers, a lot of them are just coming through it now. It's turn 21, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it's a little later, but it's that quick flick left, followed by that right, that you can really ride that curve. But Scott has really gone away with this formation lap. But anyway, only 5 drivers opted for the soft compound tyre, with the other 6 opting for the mediums. So split in strategy between our drivers.
I think the mediums is the right choice. The softs will last forever on this track. I think they'll last 13 laps. So if you can stay on those mediums, if there's an early safety car, you'll be on the softs all the way to the end pretty easily. So I do think medium start is the right choice. Looks like we're just about to get underway though, for this round 4 of the ESRL sprints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we're away. It was a quick start. It's a good one for Scott, but Ayrton 2 behind him has gotten a good start as well. Lifeboat's under big pressure into turn 1. Scott holds the lead. Lifeboat trying to go round the outside, but has to back off. Ayrton 2 under pressure from Tier. There might have been contact there. Tier was squeezed into the wall as Simps gets into P4. Jay Hamilton has retired. More contact. Simps and Tier both going for a spin. Just a little bit too much. too much, well, not enough room given there, I think, but I don't think any malicious intent, maybe just didn't see Tyr there. But Rick is up into P6 as a result, the effective championship leader, but he's under pressure from Wumax, who is a championship rival, as they come through the hairpin left-hander that here, which seems to go on forever, this corner, as they come through. Rick just behind, but great start for Scott.
Yeah, I was riding on board with Ayrton on the start of that lap. I got a great view of the collision between Tyr and Simps there. Ayrton had a fairly moderate start. He almost went into the back of Tyr, did a great job to get the car stopped as he went into turn 1. Simps got around the outside of him on the inside in the second part of the corner, which allowed him to get past the AlphaTauri driver, and then of course the contact with Tyr saw Ayrton got up into P4.
Rick's gone for a dive down the inside of Avi into that last hairpin. Could we be 3 wide into turn 1 already? Wumax has taken advantage as well. These two championship rivals, don't forget, Rick and Wumax. Amir is also in this championship, so it's going to be very close between these three as they go into turn 1. Wumax has gotten the advantage. He's up into P5 on those soft tyres, which he'll be happy about. Avi is back in the session, so hopefully he can rejoin that car, which is dropping positions like a stone at the moment. But great to see Wumax into P5, and he'll be looking to secure the gap to the top runners now. Moti Peretz is in the session, so he'll join for race 2 as Lifebout makes a dive down the inside of Scott into the next hairpin, and he's made it stick on those medium tyres. Scott now struggling for pace and is going to be under more pressure.
It certainly is. Lifebout was incredibly close through sector 1, and Scott seems to be struggling on that soft tyre, whereas Lifebout is on a mission. He crashed in a race not too long ago over in APPF1, and he'll be looking to make amends this evening, as he was leading that race over there, and he holds the lead for this race for the moment. But he's got Ayrton 1 and Ayrton 2 not too far behind him, who just need to navigate that orange McLaren.
Absolutely. Scott is essentially a wall at the moment to those two Ayrtons. He definitely doesn't have the pace to challenge them over a qualifying lap, but as it seems he has the pace to keep them behind for now. He's about 6/10 behind Lifebout as the fastest laps all come in. Can Ayrton 2 make a move into turn 1? Not quite. He has a look, but doesn't send it. And of course no DRS on this lap.
A little mistake there. He went very deep out of the second corner, got on the curb and went all sorts of wrong. Scott's closed up again as he goes wide now, this Lifebout.
Yeah, you've got to be careful of track limits penalties around here. Very easy to get, especially in sector 1. So we could end up with this race being decided on some track limits penalties. Scott's got DRS. He's within range of Lifebout. Those soft tyres working well for the McLaren. As Wumax now 2.6 seconds behind this group, with Rick dropping off a little bit. So Wumax is catching as they battle, but not as fast as he would hope at this stage.
Yeah, the racing gets very exciting around this circuit. It's really great to watch. It's a fast circuit, but it encourages this sort of DRS train style of racing, which can get very, very exciting, especially when cars are having drag races to the first corner.
Absolutely. It's this DRS zone right here, I believe, that doesn't exist in real F1. But Ayrton, it's Scott who's going to make a move on Lifebout down the inside into the final corner. He's made it stick. Scott retakes the lead. I bet he's going to be happy with the pace he has around here. But it could be 3 wide into turn 1 here. They're all going to have DRS. Lifebout trying to make it through, but Ayrton 2 all the way around the outside. Scott breaks late. Lifebout is going to get sandwiched there, but he's gotten round the outside, down the inside at the next corner, and now Ayrton's trying to get involved, but he backs out very sensibly. But now they come through. Ayrton 2 leads the race. Scott gets past Lifebout, who makes another mistake and loses out to Ayrton now as well. And Wumax is now within 2 seconds of this group.
Lifebout 3-second time penalty, just cut the corner there through sector 1. And Scott's out of this race! Oh, very lucky that he didn't go straight to the side of Lifebout. I was riding on board with him for the moment there. I'm sure Lifebout got very scared of that one. But Scott's not going to be too happy with that result. That's the second DNF tonight He DNF'd an APPF1 and he's done it again.
How on earth is that not a safety car?
No idea. That car is in the middle of the track,
Yeah.
abandoned.
Classic. Well, this is a fantastic helicopter shot we've got of Ayrton here. We are still under green flag racing, so Ayrton 2 leads the race. It's Ayrton 2 and Ayrton 1 leading the race, but in the wrong order in terms of the numbers we've given them. Anyway, Tier gets himself another time penalty. Lifebout's still got his one, but Ayrton is going to be looking to get himself into the lead of this race as soon as he can. Around the hairpin he comes. He's going to have DRS. I can't see Ayrton 2 defending against this. They're both using that overtake button, but Ayrton 2 knows it's futile, turns it off. Here comes Ayrton round the outside of his namesake and into the lead of the race as Ayrton 2 gets himself a time penalty in the process.
Yeah, simple move under the DRS there. Rick getting himself past Amir, who's actually in the pit lane.
Oh.
So he pulls the trigger early on this strategy and switches over to the soft compound of tyres, which, as Ghost has said, will last all the way to the end of this race. And it's actually, Ghost, this DRS zone that Ayrton's traversing now that doesn't exist in real life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, the one that's in Sector 3, well, that is the controversial one. That's the one that definitely exists.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc playing a few DRS games along there, and it happened again the year before with Lewis and Max for that championship.
Certainly did. Rick has got himself a time penalty, but look at this, by the way, Womax. He's catching up again, but he lost all the time that he gained on that group from having to avoid Scott's crash. He did a fantastic job to avoid it. It was brilliant reaction time by the Bulgarian, but he lost all the time that he gained on that group, so unfortunate for him. But he's going to be hoping to gain as much time as possible and hope that Avi fights Rick, which is exactly what's happening. Avi having to have a look and see if he can make a send, and Rick goes deep, so Avi's going to have the opportunity here. Ayrton 2 is into the pits, as is Avi, so he doesn't make the move as Womax up into third place now, but he is still yet to pit. Rick is 2.5 seconds down, so this could be close towards the end of this race, although Womax without that penalty, if he continues throughout the rest of this race to not breach track limits, he'll be in a really good spot.
Oh, this could be close between Ayrton and Amir. No, it's not, but Amir gets ahead of his teammate at the moment by a few seconds. That brief time where Avi was not in the race has really cost him a lot of positions. He was up in P5, if I remember rightly, and has dropped down to P8 because of that disconnect.
Absolutely. Ayrton now leads by 2-3 seconds from Lifebelt. Once he gets in clear air, he's just gone. Just a different level to the rest of the ESRL drivers. But he needs those wins if he wants to challenge for the championship after missing so many races. Womax still 2.6 behind Lifebelt, but he is still increasing that gap to Rick, which is crucial in terms of the championship.
It's like he's on rails, Ayrton. He just doesn't make a mistake. Just drives and drives and drives, especially in clear air. He's got no one who's going to challenge him, and he's just pulling away from Lifebelt. Incredible. Lifebelt's
in. Womax has stayed out, which actually doesn't surprise me too much, because those softs, as I said, will last for ages. So I think he'll stay out for maybe a couple more laps, I think. Lifebelt and Rick both into the pit, so we've got to keep an eye on Rick, because if he can gain some time with this undercut...
oh, he's lost it, I think.
He could have,
yeah, he's lost that to both Red Bulls.
Oh, he has. The power of that undercut onto those soft tyres is massive. So Rick down to P8, 1.7 seconds behind both Red Bulls. He'll be hoping he can gain some time on this lap on his championship rival Womax, but that penalty is really going to end up costing him today, I think.
Yeah, Lifebout is within DRS range of the Williams of Ayrton too, with Amir not too far behind as well. So the undercut has done well for Amir and the Red Bull. Has brought him into the race with Lifebout and Ayrton 2 here. And remember, Womack, NER Ayrton and Simps are all yet to start.
They certainly are. I think Ayrton will be out. Well, actually, now that I think about it, that undercut is so powerful that it could be doubtful that Ayrton stays ahead of these guys. He has stayed out again, so he will go another lap, which I think is a mistake from the ESRL champion. Womack is into the pits. He's going to come in for a set of mediums and hope he hasn't lost too much time to the undercut from Rick. In he comes, Simps up into P2, but he is still yet to stop, as we have said. Womack is going to lose out to all of these guys, but where's Rick?
Out on the inside, and turn one is a little bit of wheel banging, but the Mercedes gets to place. Amir takes a very, very opportunistic move to go around the outside of the Williams and gets up into P4, following Lifeboat through.
And Womack got out just ahead of Rick, but you can see how much Rick gained on that undercut. Nearly 2 seconds on the AlphaTauri, and he's really pushing Womack through Sector 1 now. He needs to gain those 3 seconds in order to gain points on his championship rival. Ayrton 2 down the inside of Avi into the hairpin. He's made it stick, but Avi's going to have another go. The man who wasn't in the session for the first few laps, but he's back now and hoping to gain some time as Rick is still stuck behind that AlphaTauri.
Yeah, he's struggling to get past, but he's got the superior grip. Does the Ferrari, but once those tyres are up to temperature, which I'd imagine they would be about now for Womack, then it'll be a little bit harder. And overtaking in Sector 1 is relatively impossible unless the driver ahead of you makes a major error.
Here comes Rick round the outside. He's going to go Amir and Lifeboat as well. Lifeboat losing out as Ayrton 2 goes down the inside of Avi, but has a little slide. Just about manages to save the car, but Ayrton 2's really lost out there. I don't know if he has any damage, but Avi's going to smell blood here. He's going to have a go down the inside. He sees the flashing red light. He knows Ayrton 2 is low on battery as Womack and Rick go side by side as well. The AlphaTauri back in front of the Ferrari. Into P7 he goes. Brilliant stuff from the Bulgarian.
Yeah, great racing between these two. NER Ayrton still out on track, still hasn't come in, neither has Simps. Simps will drop way down. I'm interested to see the gap to leader, 21.4 seconds between NER Ayrton and Amir. So that could still see Ayrton get himself back inside of the pack and in this fight.
Avi has gone all the way around the outside of Ayrton 2 at that hairpin. Great stuff from the Red Bull. He's up into P5, and Womack is actually catching these guys, so he's going to have the benefit of DRS, and Rick is going to find it even more difficult to make any ground on his championship rival. And if Womack can gain perhaps another position, if he can get past Avi, then that's going to be even better. But that lack of time penalty is huge for the Bulgarian.
Yeah, certainly. Ayrton has stayed out on track. He's not coming in at the moment. He does have to stop. It's a mandatory pit stop that he has to make. So he's just trying to push and push and push. Simps is in. He will get overtaken and come out behind his teammate by the looks of things. As it stands, yes, he will. Look, there goes Rick now. He's passed him already. No chance to catch back up for Simps. There's all eyes on Ayrton now, the race leader who's still yet to pit, as to where he comes out compared to everyone else.
Rick has made a very clean move on Womack. He's back up into P6, but of course, a time penalty. As long as Womack can keep it within track limits, he could have a P5 finish here and gain 2 points, I believe. It could be 3, actually, with the ESRL point system. On his championship rival. Before this race, he was 8 points behind, so every point counts at this stage.
Yes, certainly so, and Rick's trying to do his best. It's 21.2 seconds, so that gap has still not changed all too much between Ayrton and Amir, so I think Ayrton might find himself in a bit of trouble, but he will be on fresher rubber than the drivers around him. Hello Zach Sweeney, welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you in the live chat. Nice to hear from you again. We have moved the Freddos to the fridge, so they haven't melted. It is very hot in the commentary box at the moment. But anyway, we're waiting to see if Ayrton is still out. What is
Oh
this man
wow.
doing?
Well, meanwhile, Rick and Ayrton 2 are going side by side as they come through to the hairpin. Rick has gotten ahead into P5. That's just what he needs, but he needs to make sure he gains 3 seconds as well on Womax, and at the moment I can't see that happening as Lifebout and Amir near to going side by side as well. Here comes Ayrton 2 back again on Rick round the outside through turn 1, and that's just what the Dutchman doesn't need. Are they going to go side by side again? Yes, they are, and Rick gets the better grip and takes P5 back from the Williams.
Wow, that was a great move to get back around the Williams, especially as the circuit tightened up in that little run down to the next corner. The soft tyres really helping Rick's race here. Those mediums are very hard to get any good use out of, really, as the grip falls away. And you were right in saying that starting on the mediums was the better of the two options. Will Ayrton come in? He has to, or he'll get disqualified. Yeah. So it's got to be this lap.
He can have one more lap, and then he can come in. But whether he will is another question. Also, Amir, by the way, he's in P2 at the moment, and I think he's going to be up into P1 when Ayrton pits, which he hasn't yet. He's going to go on the last opportunity on the next lap. But Amir could be leading this championship after this race, because he's only 7 points behind Rick before today. And he is racing very well indeed, as Rick and Ayrton go side by side again. Ayrton 2 back into P5, the Ferrari struggling to keep hold of that position, even on those fresher soft tyres.
Yeah, Womax has found himself. He's sat on the back of this battle at the moment. But very little EOS does the AlphaTauri as Rick goes up the inside. Williams holds the outside line, which then becomes the inside. They continue to go side by side. Rick gets squeezed a little, but the grip on those soft tyres sees him get much better traction out of the corner and takes the position away from the Williams once more. I'm just having a look. I think Ayrton may come out in between Lifebout and Avi.
Yeah, he might well do. He could even come out behind Avi here. We'll have to wait and see. He's only going to have one lap to make any ground, so I think Ayrton's shot himself in the foot here, whether deliberately or not. But Ayrton 2 still on the back of Rick. This battle will go on all the way to the end, I think, unless one of them bottles it into the wall, which is very easy to do on this track. Tia in again for another set of softs. He wants fastest lap, perhaps. Simps gets himself a 3-second time penalty as Ayrton will finally come into the pits. Yes, he does. Onto those soft tyres. So where is that AlphaTauri going to come out?
It's 22 seconds the gap. This is going to be very, very tight between the two. So he's on the soft tyres, of course. Amir's just coming around the final corner. I think Ayrton's played a master strategy here. I think he might just get out.
It's going to be very close. Here they come. Here comes the Red Bull past the start-finish line. But yeah, I think you're right. Ayrton is well ahead. So clearly not losing as much time in the pit stop as we thought. And he is going to win this race. But Ayrton 2 gets back through Rick again. And Womax is still looking for P5 here. He's going to just be hoping that Ayrton 2 can stay ahead of the Ferrari. But he taps the wall. I wonder if he got damage from that, the Bulgarian. He might well have done. I think he has, you know, he's understeering quite a lot. It's difficult to say at this point, but we'll have to wait and see. Avi is right behind Lifebout meanwhile. He's going to make the move into the next corner. Lifebout turns in a little bit, but Avi has made the move. Lifebout goes deep, trying to defend, and it's a double Red Bull podium.
Yeah, this looks very, very familiar. Sight, Ayrton being pursued by both the Red Bull drivers. I've seen that a number of times here at ESRL, and I don't think there was anyone else who could have got in the lead of this race. I think Ayrton was waiting for the tyres of his rivals to go a bit bad, so they had less pace to even come in for that challenge. Lifebout trying with everything he's got left. Avi's got very little ERS left in the battery. It's not going to matter. He's got a penalty. That was incredibly close between the two of them. That was almost Lifebout in the gearbox of that Red Bull, but Ayrton has already crossed the line to win this race, and across the line come the two Red Bulls followed by Lifebout. Rick put up a valiant fight and claims P5 after penalties. as Womack claims P4 from the others. Very tight stuff and a good job from the Bulgarian to get P5. Simps, a horrible race for him without contact of Tier, who come over the line in the last position. So we just have to wait for Tier to navigate the final few corners of this circuit.
Yeah, big result for Womax. He'll be disappointed that Ayrton 2 didn't finish ahead of Rick in the end. Rick just about getting that position up to the hairpin from the Williams driver, so he's gained a crucial point back. But Womax still finishing ahead. But even more crucially, Amir is P2. And let me just do some quick maths while Tia continues to get to the end.
Life battles understeering into every track limits.
So, let's see. There's a point system. There it is. Come on, Discord. Okay. So, yeah, Womax has just gained a point on Rick, but Amir has gained 5 points on his championship rival, which means there's 2 points between them now in the drivers' standings.
Wow, incredibly tight. I think we've only got a couple rounds left of this championship, so it's down to the wire, and Ayrton has come back swinging and claimed his first win. Nothing unusual being seen there at all. A good job from him and a good job from the rest of the drivers. That was a good race.
Absolutely, it was a good one. Simps did manage to get the fastest lap in the end, so an extra point for him, but it is the Dane, NER Ayrton, the current ESRL champion, taking P1, and Amir, the Season 1 champion, taking P2, and gaining back some crucial points in this sprint championship on Rick. Avi, P3, a great result after not being even in the race for the first few laps. Womax, a big result for him as well in P4. Rick finishes P5, which was the best he could really do today. Ayrton 2, P6. Lifebout down in P7 after penalties. Simps P8 with fastest lap. Tia P9, and then Jay, Hamilton and Scott both unable to finish the race.
A good opening round. I'm not sure where we're off to next. But
Monza.
it will be Monza. The sort of 2 fastest tracks on the F1 calendar then. This should be interesting.
Should certainly be. Well, we're going to wait for Scott to set up the reverse grid. We do have multi-products as well, so we're up to 12 on the grid today. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for Monza, which is always a fantastic track for close racing.
Yeah, it certainly is. We should see a lot of decent racing. These Lifebacks have 1 lap of practice, as he says. And sometimes 1 lap of practice is enough. I mean, sometimes I find I practice too much, and that's what costs me a lot of races. And then for a time I tried doing 5 laps on softs and 5 laps on the mediums, which was probably the formula that got me where I was in the Season 4 Sprint Championship over on APPF1, but for whatever reason I stopped doing that. Maybe it's because I ran out of time.
Time is the enemy of us all. Well, Rick, you didn't just finish the race, you're still leading the championship by my count. Only by 2 points now, but it's still, you're still up there, you're still leading strong, because Nath Clark couldn't make it today. He was on 101, so Rick is now, Rick is definitely leading, but not by much.
Not by much. The same amount of laps as well on Monza and the Jeddah Corniche circuit. So it should be interesting. A few tricky corners at Monza. The Rogier is probably the least forgiving of the lot. Or there's the final part of the Ascari chicane, which can be very punishing if you get on that inside curb or even that outside curve in the wrong way, and that will send you straight on the journey to see Barry or Zach Sweeney's good old mate.
Absolutely. Well, while we wait for the lobby to get set up, I think it should be nearly done by now. We have 5 people watching, but only 2 likes on the stream. What's that about, guys? Everyone get on that, like the stream, and make sure to support the channel. Go over to Sumo's channel as well. It's the same as his PSN name that you can see on the screen. Head over to that channel and give him a subscription, and like all his recent videos if you can as well. He's nearly at 100. What are you at now, Sumo?
Let's have a look. We are currently sat on 84, so we've gone up 2 today. So only 16 left to get. So it would be incredible if we could get those final few in there. And got a very recent race for you of APPF1 Tier 1. That was a good race around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit.
No, it's a terrible race.
Terrible race. Terrible race if your name is Ghost, Jackalaco, Rick, URL Chris, and Scott, who is on 2 retirements. Can he make it 3 tonight? Azuma joins us for a race. But I'm sure Scott won't want to go for the hat-trick of DNFs this evening. And yes, please do like Ghost Stream. I've heard if you don't like Ghost Stream, then Bluey shows up in your wardrobe, and that's not a nice thing.
You don't want that. But yeah, and if you don't go and subscribe to Sumo right now, there's a rumor hanging around that you'll DNF your next 5 races. So I'd do it if I were you. But it looks like we're about to get underway for Monza. But yeah, do make sure to go over and support Sumo's channel.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. 17 seconds, 16 seconds, 15 seconds. The suspense is killing me, Ghost.
I can't wait, Sumo. Monza is always a good racing track. I think we're going to get plenty of action here. We're up to 13 drivers. Zuba and Motipolet have joined us for this second race, which is good to see. And we'll have to find out how it goes as we head over to Italy. The fastest track on the calendar in terms of average speed. I think that's still true. But yeah, can be a tricky one at times. Especially the Ascari chicane and the first Lesmo can cause problems. The second Lesmo too, actually, some of the time. And yeah, there's not many corners on this track, but most of them aren't easy, Sumo.
No, there's 8 corners on this track. It's a clockwise circuit. Of course, I think most of them. I think there's 1, 2. There's not 8 corners. That's wrong. This track map is wrong. There's definitely more. There's 11 corners on this circuit.
4, 5, 6,
Right.
8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11.
With 7 to the right, which would leave 4 to the left. It's an incredibly quick circuit. Not a lot of corners, as we've said. With most of the time around this circuit, Zuba's left the session. That's no. Most of the time spent at full throttle around this track. Full throttle up to turn 1, full throttle all the way to the Rogia. Yeah, very quick through the 2 Lesmos. Full throttle all the way down to the Ascari, and then full throttle into Parabolica, and then on the exit of Parabolica, you're back on that throttle once again. So it's a very, very fast track. Here, and it's why it's got the name the Temple of Speed. There are 2 DRS zones, one running all the way down to the first corner of the Rettifilio chicane, and then another on the way down towards the infamous Ascari.
Absolutely. About to get underway for the formation lap. Of course, this is reverse grid of the race results for the first race, not of the championship order. The first race is reverse of championship order, the second race is reverse of the results of the first race. That was a lot of words, but I think it made sense. Tier will lead us off then, after being the last of the finishers. Scott J. Hamilton at the back after DNFing, unfortunately. And Motipalet and Zuba as well at the back after joining us mid-session. Predicted strategy, well, soft medium. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Anyone who goes on the hards, Tier, you're going to regret it. But yeah, I don't know when they're going to come in for those mediums. We'll have to find out. We've got a disqualification in the formation lap already. That's not ideal.
Oh dear. That's Mopsy Peretz disqualified in the formation lap. It's a very short formation lap around here, very fast circuit. Does provide a lot of great racing. Some people may know this corner as Alboreto, but I refuse to call it that name. Not because I hate the name particularly, but it's always been Parabolica to me, and that's what it will stay.
Absolutely, I feel the same way. We're about to get lined up on the grid. Tier will take the front slot with Simps just alongside in that Ferrari, and Lifebout in P3. The championship leader Rick will start in P5 with his direct rivals Womax and Amir in P6 and 8. So we'll have to keep an eye on those three in particular. And if Ayrton wins this race, he'll be back in the fight as well, just about. So keep an eye on him as well. But we're about to get underway as the lights begin to come on.
It's riding on board with Womax. He's going to get a decent start over the medium runners, sat sandwiched between a number of them. So all eyes on that Alpha Tower.
Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Italian Grand Prix. Tier gets a good start, but so does Simps. I think the Ferrari's going to have him into turn 1. It's going to be down the inside. There's 3 wide further back. Womax with an amazing start up to P3, but he's broke too late. And he's gone into... Oh, there's contact everywhere. It's classic Monza turns 1 and 2. Who's gotten away with it? It looks like Lifebout has. Simps, I think, has gone away with it as well. But so they will lead as we go through. Tier maybe has gotten away with no damage as well. I don't know. I think Rick Womax has definitely had damage. Simps not.
Tier's got no front wing for Tier.
Tier's got no front wing at all, so he's going to lose out. Avi trying to get through on Lifebout around the outside of Lesmo 1. Surely not. What a move from the Red Bull. He's made it stick as well. Brilliant stuff, and he's going to be after Simps as well. Most people starting on mediums, only Simps, Tier, and Womax, Zuba, Motipalet and Scott on the softs, but most of those were caught up in the carnage at turn 1.
Wow. Let's have a look. Ayrton's got a decent start as well. He finds himself in P5 at the moment. The yellow flag off that's Tier going slowly through Ascari at the moment. But it looked like I was riding on board with Womax.
3 wide up to Parabolica. Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo. It's Ayrton 2, Zuba and Womax. But Womax has got the damage, remember. I don't know who else has damage in this pack. But Ayrton 2 has made it stick.
Got damage.
Oh, he's got damage, never mind. So Zuba's going to stay out. Simps sets the fastest lap. I don't know if Zuba's actually in the session. There's a bit of kerfuffle on the entrance to the pit lane as everyone comes in. 4 new front wings. It's a disaster for all of these guys, especially Womax, and I think Rick took damage as well, so the championship leader has really lost out here, and Amir is sitting pretty in P4 at the moment, looking to take the lead after this race of the championship.
So I was riding on board with Womax. What looked like it happened was that Womax got a great start, had nowhere else to go as Rick closed the door immediately, so he went on the grass a little bit, half the car on the grass, down the outside of the car in front of him, and then he broke, but it was way too late, which then sent him into the side of Tier, and then Tier... Simps had to stop as Hamilton's out of this race now. Simps stopped in front of Tier for whatever reason, and Tier went right into the back of him, losing his front ring.
Yeah, that's a huge shame for all those drivers involved. Womack basically did a cruiser from Tier 2, didn't he?
I think that Crozer was far, far worse.
But yeah, Jay Hamilton out of the session. He lost. Oh, and Womax has retired as well. I think, yeah, that's at Lesmo Ones. He's just lost the car. We do have a full yellow flag, and we have a safety car. It's upgraded. So that brings back everyone who crashed earlier or took damage earlier back into the race. But Womax has just bottled his own championship, I think. What a start he had, but it's all gone wrong ever since.
I think Scott was involved in that crash as well. I just saw him getting the car out of the wall.
Oh,
He's
dear.
lucky to keep that bad boy going, but no wing for the McLaren. But he'll be on the back of the safety car train.
Well, it's good news for Simps, I think, because he's going to get onto the mediums without incident, and he's going to not lose any time, although he did have a 2.5 second gap, so maybe it's not such good news for the Ferrari. It's perfect news for Rick, meanwhile, but as I say, Womax is, I think, out of the championship now, I would say. He's had a fantastic sprint championship up until now, but one error and that's game over in a championship this close.
Yeah, it really is. That's a huge shame for Womax. He had such good potential this in the sprint championship, but alas, it's all gone to naught in the beginning laps of this race. As anything can happen in motorsport, and that's just proven it right there. But we will be under safety car. Be interesting. I'd imagine everybody's going to come in for some fresh tyres, and strategies of the medium runners has been thrown in. Simps on the hards,
Oh,
so
no.
they weren't listening to you, Ghost.
Oh no.
So he's thrown away the chance. He's going to get swallowed up by Avi, Lifeboat, Ayrton, and near. Probably even the likes of Zuba as well. I'd imagine Zuba might get involved in that if he's back in this race. I'm not actually sure. I did try and find out, but we'll wait and see when he catches up to Ayrton a little bit more. Which I think he's done. Maybe. I'm trying to see if Zuba's in this race, but I don't know. Oh,
Can't tell because ghosting is off. I'll watch his steering wheel to see if there's any sort of clear AI movement with it. Looks pretty human to me. I think he's in the race. I think he is here. So he's racing strong at the moment, but he's going to struggle on those mediums. But God, not as much as Simps.
He is here.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's a very poor decision from Simps. If he made the decision, because I think we're both aware that sometimes Jeff can really screw you over at a pit stop.
He really can.
So if it was his decision, it's a very poor decision. If he's been screwed over by Jeff, I feel sorry for him. I mean, you can see he's even struggling to warm up those tyres. He's nearly binned it into the wall a few times behind the safety car. But Avi is now in the driving seat to win this race, I think. Lifebout could have a shot as well, but I mean, you've got the final boss of NER Ayrton breathing down your neck. It's never easy. But Amir will certainly be looking to be leading the championship after this race. Rick is down in P7. There's 2 points between them. So as it stands, they're level on points, the two of them, going into what would be the last 2 weeks of the season coming up.
Wow, last 2 weeks of the season. It's been a long run, hasn't it? I think this is. I mean, I was there for most of 2020 and 2021. It's been an okay game. 2022 is literally around the corner now.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I was having a little rant earlier in the APPF 121 stream about back garages not moving in after a season, which is something that seems fairly simple to add into the game, yet they still haven't managed to do it. It's just that small bit of
Yeah.
realism that could really be added into the game.
Yes.
I'll fucking laugh. Sorry to swear, but I'll laugh if F1 Manager manages it.
Oh yeah.
F1 and it Codemasters F1 game does not.
I'm so looking forward to F1 Manager. While you were talking, Sumo, Amir nearly binned it into the wall at Lesmo 1. He just about managed to save the car, but that would have been a heart-in-the-mouth moment for the Israeli. Safety car's about to come in. I don't know if Scott is going to be able to catch up here. It's going to be close. I think he's just about going to make it. But we're about to get underway. This should be a very interesting restart. As we come through Parabolica, when is Simps going to punch it? He's not going to punch it yet. He's going to leave it a little bit longer. He needs as much time as he can with those hard tyres. He's going to really struggle. He's gone finally. Avi has been caught out a bit and is now under pressure from Lifebout, but Ayrton has got an even better restart right behind the Mercedes as they come through to turn 1. Could they go 3 wide here? The 3 of them, not quite. Lifebout doesn't go for it and Ayrton backs out as well, but Simps already locking up into turn 1. You can see how bad those hards are. Rick is up into P6, which is huge for his championship. Every point counts when it's as close as it is. Simps again going wide. Avi is going to have a go, perhaps. He has to back out of it, but it's surely only a matter of time before Simps is swallowed up.
I think that overtakes a formality at this point when with Simps on those hard tyres. There's no way they're up to temperature just yet. It probably won't be till the end of this lap. And those softs, well, they will 100% make it to the end of this race. And that's going to be a fairly simple overtake, but I think it's about to happen.
I think it would be foolish for Avi to attempt it now, but that's what he's doing. He's pulled to the inside, but he's backed out of it in the end, but he's wasted a huge amount of battery in order to not actually make the move. So a bit of an odd one from Avi. He's really wasting that ERS at the moment. Lifebout, meanwhile, has held off on using it for now, but he's still got NER Ayrton behind him and Amir behind him as well, as Simps now is under pressure from Avi. Avi down the inside, just no grip through Parabolica for the Ferrari, and Avi is into the lead of this race. But is Simps going to have another go? He's got the slipstream. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside and have the inside for turn 1. A bit of wheel banging as they come through. Simps has to go over the curb, and he's going to lose out more positions from the bad exit. Lifebout gets into P2. Amir has spun. Amir down to P10. That's massive for Rick in the championship. He's up to P5 now as his rival is in last place. So Rick, Christmas has come early for the Ferrari after an awful start to the race. He's suddenly looking like the favourite to be leading the championship in 6 laps time.
Such a tricky traction zone, that second corner. It really doesn't look it, but it is. As Ayrton has made his way past Simps, getting swallowed up by those soft runners, as I said during that safety car period. As Tia gets past Ayrton 2, they go side by side into Ascari. Surely not. Tia gets through as Ayrton 2 backs off. Amir's got his way past Scott as well while that was happening, a little bit further back from them, and is looking to go into damage control now.
Absolutely. Ayrton 2 and Tia, great racing between the two. Ayrton 2 just backing off sensibly. Avi sets the fastest lap. He's already got a 1.6 gap to Lifebout, who's now going to come under pressure from the reigning ESRL champion. Here comes Ayrton. Is he going to make a move? No, he's not. He's going to stick behind the Mercedes for now. But the longer he stays behind the Dutchman, the harder it's going to be for him to catch up to Avi, because if I remember rightly from the race we had around here in the 50% ESRL Championship, Ayrton was still the fastest, but he wasn't as much faster around here as he is on some other tracks. As Lifebout goes very deep all the way across the corner, doesn't get a penalty for it. He takes the enough of the throttle off to for the game to forgive him, but he's gone very deep at Lesmo 2, and that's straight through for Ayrton, and he's now going to be under pressure from the hard-tired Simps.
Yeah, Simps just got a 3-second time penalty, so not too much pressure on the shoulders of Lifebout. There might be some team orders soon in Ferrari as Rick is catching his teammate. Not too quickly, it must be said. He's on slightly older tyres than the other soft runners, but he's definitely got it in him to catch Simps on those hards. He'll be
Meanwhile,
further back.
yeah, Tia made another overtake into Ascari. It was great stuff. He's up to P7, and Amir needs to get past these guys, but at the moment he's just a bit stuck. He's not really able to do anything. He's in a DRS train. He really needs to put on the pressure on these guys and gain as many positions as he can. We're going to be 3 wide into turn 1 yet again. It's the second time this race. Brakes late, but he's gone into the side of the Williams. Tries to go all the way around the outside again, but he's forced onto the gravel, and Amir down to last place again, jostling between them, trying to get himself into P8 as there's a crash, massive crash. Moti Peretz is out of the session. Is that another safety car? It is, which is bad news for Amir. He's up to P9 though, thanks to that. But yeah, massive crash. I didn't quite catch what happened. I don't know if you did, Sumo.
No, I didn't see it. I just saw debris flying across the track. But with Ayrton 2 has no wings, so that might tell some of the story there. Yeah. It looked like a lot of carnage going on. I think there was about 4 wide out on the exit of turn 2. At one point, Scott, I think, managed to get away scot-free.
Hey.
in that instance. And I think Simps, if he doesn't come in for soft tyres, then...
Oh, Simps, why did you put on the hards, man? It must be torture to drive. Is he coming in? He's in, he's in. I'm not driving on these bloody hards anymore, he's thinking. So he will drop to the back. Rick is up to P4. If he can stay in the DRS, he has a shot at a podium here, which would be a fantastic result for the Dutchman, with his championship rival down in P9.
Someone is not going to be too happy with his safety car is Avi, because what this does is brings Ayrton right on the back of him now, and knowing Ayrton, if he can get past, he's gone.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's not going to be a lot of laps left. I think the safety car will come in lap 11. So we will have 2 laps of racing. It might still come in this lap. Oh no, Ayrton 2 is too far behind. So we'll have 2 laps of racing. There won't be any DRS, so it might be tricky for the reigning ESRL champion to get himself his 2nd win of the night. But I'm sure he'll try his absolute hardest to do exactly that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Indeed. So we're just waiting for the last 2 cars to catch back onto the safety car. Be interested to see if Amir can make up any positions. It's going to be a 2-lap sprint, I'd imagine, to the end of this race. The safety car will for sure come in at the end of lap 11, which is probably what's going to happen.
Yep, I think so. It's certainly not coming in this lap, so yeah, and the game always gives you 2 laps of racing at the end, so will absolutely be coming in this lap, this next lap. Zuba, by the way, running in P5 on those mediums. He is going to come under pressure from his teammate though. Tia could get a top 5 finish today, which would be a brilliant result for him, and Scott is running in P7. He could get eaten up by the cars behind him if he's not careful, because of course Simps, Amir and Ayrton 2 all on fresh, soft tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can make their way through the grid, and how many risks is this man, Amir, willing to take to limit the damage to his championship hopes.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Scott is a wily old fox. He knows what he's doing on that racetrack. Sometimes he doesn't look like he does, but he really does. Back in last year's game, he was a great opponent to race, very quick. That was before he went over to full elite settings and onto the wheel, I believe, when he was a controller player like myself. But it'd be interesting to see if he can hold off Simps and Amir, who has a point to prove and a championship to fight for.
Absolutely. Yeah, I fought with Scott for the season 1 of the Sprint Championship over in APP for the whole season. And he was a fantastic opponent on F1 2020. And when he puts the line on, he's a fantastic opponent in this game as well. But he's fully moved over to elite settings now, so it's a little bit more of a struggle for him. But the Scott I know, we know how good a racer he can be. But anyway, the safety car's coming in now. When is Avi going to punch it? I'm going to ride on board with Ayrton to see if the Red Bull catches out the AlphaTauri. Someone who's very good at safety car restarts is Ayrton, usually. Avi's still waiting, and he's finally gone, but he hasn't caught out the Dane, crucially. I think there's going to be a move made into turn 1, because of that slipstream is massive for the AlphaTauri. We're going to be 2 by 2 into turn 1. Here goes Ayrton down the inside. Avi locks up, but he makes a brilliant late braking move, ran the outside and keeps the position. Meanwhile, Rick and Lifebout side by side as the Dutchman gets himself onto the podium. Massive for the championship. Amir is still stuck in P9 for now, but Lifebout is going to be hoping to get himself back ahead of that Ferrari.
Simpson, incredible restart from that Ferrari there. He's got past Scott and Zuber as Rick goes a little bit on the gravel there on the exit of the Loggia, and Simps up past Tier as well. Tier's got past his teammate in the other Haas car, but that top 5 finish is still on the cards for the Haas as Simps has that penalty.
Absolutely. Here comes Amir. He's trying to go around the outside of Scott on the approach to Ascari. I think he's going to make the move. I don't think Scott's going to fight this too hard. No, he doesn't. He backs out. Oh, he does a little look, actually, but Amir keeps the position. Has to go a bit wide to do it, but all fair game. Ayrton 2 getting past Scott as well. Brilliant move from the Williams. Great opportunistic racing from him, and Scott down to P10. As Simps now, oh no, massive crash between Simps and Lifebout. They're both out of the race. Oh no, I just saw them go side by side through Parabolica. I don't know how they crashed, but I just about caught the end of it. But massive crash there. That promotes Tier into P4 and Amir into P5. Massive for the Red Bull. And Rick's going to be thinking, you've got to be kidding me. I was going to gain so many points on my rival today, and it could end up just being 4 or 5 now. But massive crash there. Zuber is now under pressure from Ayrton 2, and I don't think the medium tyre running Haas is going to fight that too hard. He doesn't. Ayrton 2 up to P6.
Very staticky at the moment, guys, just to let you know.
Nope.
But yeah, Ayrton's still not past Avi, interestingly. This is the final lap, so if he's going to do it, he's got to do it right now. Which he's not. He's not even open in the DRS. I can see it. It's not open on that rear wing, so I think Avi has got this one in the bag.
Comes Amir around the outside of Tier up to Ascari. Surely not. Tier's going to fight it, but he has to back out in the end. Brilliant move from Amir to limit the damage to his championship hopes. He looked down and out in this race, but no move from him. Ayrton is just right behind Avi, but it's not enough. Not enough laps. There's no DRS because the safety car.
Inside from Ayrton 2. This is for P5, and Tier's lost that line, and he's pushed out of the top 5 by the Williams. But can he get it before the line? It's going to be a drag race.
Close, so close at the back there, and I don't know if you saw at the front as well, Sumo. Ayrton had a brilliant run out of Parabolica, and he pulled side by side with Avi right at the end, but he was 500ths off, I think. It might even have been 300ths. It was so close at the line for the race win, but Avi takes it. And Rick in P3, crucial for him. He gains points on his championship rival, but not as many as he would have been hoping around about 2 laps ago.
An incredibly dramatic end to an incredibly dramatic race as Avi takes the win by, honestly I'm very interested now by how much he got that win. It's by 200ths of a second.
Yeah, 2 just border him with 300ths. Ayrton got the fastest lap in the end. He just about took it, But it is Avi who takes the race win just about. That was so close at the line. I'm glad I caught it on the stream. Ayrton too, just about beating Tier to the line as well. They were side by side across the checkered flag as well. But Avi takes the win. Ayrton in P2 with Rick in P3. Amir P4 somehow managed to recover to P4 after it looked like he was going to be stuck down in P9. Took advantage of a few more crashes. Ayrton 2 P5, Tier in P6 in the end, Zuba P7, Scott in P8, Lifebout and Simps will be classified but didn't finish the race. I'm not sure how that works in ESRL Sprint, whether they score points or not. But and then the two DNFs were Moti Perez and Jay Hamilton.
An incredible end to some awesome sprint racing over here in ESRL, and getting the win by 200ths of a second, and lots of side-by-side actions, some safety cars, and Scott, who finished the race and didn't make it, a hat-trick of DNFs. Well done.
Brilliant. Great to see. But yeah, that will be it for today's ESRL sprints. As Sumo said, a hugely dramatic end to the session, with Ayrton just 2 or 3 hundredths away from getting a second race win of the night. Avi just about managed to hold on. But that will be that. Have you got anything more to add, Sumo?
It's a huge shame for Womack's. First of all, that crash has put him way out of the championship now, and anything other than incredible last run of races is going to see him back in the contention. But it's all eyes now on Rick and Amir as they go into the final couple of rounds. Is it Ferrari or is it Red Bull?
Ayrton could be in it as well, although missing out on that race win could well end up costing him the championship, because he won't be that far behind. He was 28 points behind before today. So with Rick finishing badly in Jeddah, although he did get the podium in the next race, so Ayrton, I estimate, will be around maybe 20 points behind, maybe 18 or something like that. So he's not out of it quite yet, as long as he can make it to the last 4 races.
Yeah, hopefully so. It's always a possibility that you can't make a race in league racing, and that's always a huge shame, but life does and will get in the way inevitably. But hopefully we have a good fight out for the rest of the championship.
Hopefully so. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of ESRL. I suppose it's an episode. And yeah, I think we will end off the stream here. So I've been Ghost.
And I've been Sumo.
And we will see you next week for more ESRL sprints. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.